Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. A storm was brewing in the sun-drenched hills of Los Angeles, where the opulent lives of the Forrester and Spencer families intersected with secrets that might topple empires. No one saw it coming. Deacon Sharp had always been a guy of contradictions, a reformed bad boy running Il Giardino restaurant, father to Hope Logan, and involved in a marriage with the most dangerous woman in town, SHEILA Carter. Their partnership had grown out of desperation and shared loneliness, a delicate link that SHEILA clung to with the tenacity of someone who had battled her way back from the edge of disaster time and again. But recently, fractures appeared in that foundation, leading directly to Dr. Taylor Hayes' exquisite office. Taylor, an excellent psychiatrist with a heart that had been broken more times than she cared to count, was drawn to Deacon in unexpected ways. What began as therapy sessions to assist him negotiate his difficult marriage had turned into stolen looks, late-night confessions, and, eventually, sexual encounters that left them both breathless and afraid. They were aware of the risks. SHEILA was not to be taken lightly. Her past of violence, which included shooting Stephanie Forrester, faking her own death, and tormenting the Logans and Forresters, made her a ticking time bomb. Nevertheless, in each other's embraces, Deacon and Taylor felt alive, visible, and understood in a city where facades reigned supreme. The tension had been building for several weeks. Taylor had confessed her guilt to her daughter Steffi, who was appalled to think of her mother involved with Deacon while he was still married to SHEILA. Steffi had advised them both to stay away, even prohibiting SHEILA from entering Taylor's office at the hospital following a harrowing episode in which SHEILA, disguised as a nurse, broke in and confronted Taylor directly. "Are you having an affair with my husband?" SHEILA yelled, her eyes filled with betrayal and wrath. Taylor had frozen, the weight of her deeds crashing down, but she had managed to deflect just enough to buy some time. Deacon, meantime, has been walking a fine line, lying to SHEILA about his whereabouts while fantasizing about Taylor even during intimate moments with his wife. Evidence had accumulated in subtle ways that only someone as compulsive as SHEILA could notice. Taylor found a pizza box from Il Giardino in her room after one of their covert encounters. Sandy boots that contradicted Deacon's normal tales about where he had been. A slip in conversation here, a lingering glance there. SHEILA, ever the survivor, had put things together like a puzzle tailored to her twisted mind. She tested Deacon by describing her night at Steffi's Cliff House, where she nearly caught them, and observing his predatory reactions. Deacon had kept his cool, but inwardly, panic gnawed at him. He loved Taylor truly now, in a genuine and restorative manner, but he was also concerned about what unleashing SHEILA's wrath would entail for everyone he cared about, particularly Hope and the Forrester clan. As the days passed into the following week, the unavoidable became apparent. Deacon and Taylor met in secret again, this time at a secluded location overlooking the ocean, away from prying eyes. The waves broke below them as they held hands, the sea air combining with Taylor's perfume. "I can't keep hiding this," Deacon replied, his voice gruff and emotional. "What we have, it's not just some fling. You make me want to be better, Taylor. Not the guy who settles for chaos." Taylor gazed at him, her eyes sparkling with tears. She'd spent years chasing stability with Ridge Forrester, only to see it slip away constantly. Deacon made no pretenses. He saw her scars and flaws, but still selected her. "I'm scared," she confessed. "SHEILA, she's capable of anything, but I don't want to lose what we have either." Their decision came quickly after that heated talk. They'd go public. No more sneaking around or lying. It was a risky move that may spark a firestorm, but they were sick of living in the background. The first person they informed was Hope, Deacon's daughter. She arrived at Il Giardino expecting a casual lunch, only to discover her father and Taylor sitting together at a corner table, their body language screaming intimacy. Hope's face paled as Deacon gently delivered the news. "Honey, Taylor and we're together. It's real. I know this is a shock, especially with SHEILA, but I couldn't keep pretending." Hope, ever the optimist but fiercely protective of her family, struggled to process it. "Dad, SHEILA?" She's my grandmother to Douglas in some twisted way, and Taylor, she's like family too. This could destroy everything. But deep down, Hope saw a genuine spark in her father's eyes that she hadn't seen in years. Word traveled quickly through the Forrester mansion. Steffi was the next to find out, and her reaction was dramatic. She had already advised her mother against taking this road, fearing for Taylor's safety following Sheila's hospital altercation. What were you thinking, Mom? Going public now? Sheila will come after you, with everything she has. Steffi paced the living room, her high heels clicking against the marble floors. Ridge Forrester, Taylor's ex-husband and the true love of her life in many respects, overheard and stormed in, his face twisted with disbelief and wrath. Taylor with Deacon? That loser? After everything we've been through? Ridge's jealousy bubbled up quickly. Even as he bounced between Taylor and Brooke Logan, he saw himself as the one capable of taming her wild heart. The idea of her finding happiness with Deacon Sharp felt like a personal insult. Brooke Logan, Ridge's current wife and Taylor's long-standing competitor, had a more nuanced reaction. Brooke and Taylor had been at odds for decades over Ridge, but in this unexpected twist, she found herself side with Taylor. Ridge, you can't control her life forever, Brooke stated during a tense family gathering at the home. Taylor deserves to move on, just like we all have. Deacon might not be your idea of perfect, but if he makes her happy. Brooke's remarks simply exacerbated Ridge's wrath. He exploded, banging his hand against the table. Happy? With Sheila's husband? This is a recipe for disaster, Brooke. Mark my words. Meanwhile, the sisters-in-law relationship between Brooke and Katie Logan simmered, with Katie expressing cautious support to Taylor while doubting the wisdom of upsetting Sheila. Sheila Carter was in the center of the turmoil. She had sensed the betrayal coming, but when the truth finally hit her, first through a panicked call from a mutual acquaintance who had seen Deacon and Taylor together in public, then confirmed by Deacon's own reluctant admission, the world as she knew it crumbled. Sheila was at Il Giardino when Deacon sat her down in the back office, where they had previously shared many passionate times. "Sheila, I never meant to hurt you like this," he said, his voice firm but full of sadness. "But Taylor and we've fallen in love. We're going public. I want a divorce." Sheila's reaction was swift and explosive. Her eyes, those piercing eyes that had seen death and delivered it in equal measure, were filled with rage and grief. "You betrayed me, Deacon. After everything I've done for us, after I changed for you." She exploded in rage, her voice rising to a scream that rang throughout the restaurant. Customers outside looked anxiously at the closed door. Sheila revealed every sign she had discovered, including the pizza box, the boots, and the lies about his therapy sessions evolving into something far more intimate. "I trusted Taylor. I thought she was helping our marriage, and all this time, she was stealing you away." Deacon tried to calm her down, asking her to aim her fury at him rather than Taylor. "This isn't her fault. I made the decision." But Sheila was beyond reason in that moment. She had always been the villain in the perspective of Los Angeles society, serving prison time and seclusion for her crimes until regaining Deacon's trust. Now, this betrayal stung worse than any bullet wound or failed scheme. She stormed out of the restaurant, her thoughts racing with possibilities. Will she revert to her old ways, stalking, threatening, or even something more sinister? Or had her time with Deacon softened her enough to consider a different path? Rumors circulated that Sheila would meet Taylor directly again, this time without the nurse disguise, seeking answers in an unfiltered showdown. As the news spread throughout the neighborhood, reactions poured in from every angle. Liam Spencer, Hope's ex and a voice of reason in turbulent times, took his former father-in-law aside for a one-on-one conversation. "Deacon man, are you sure about this? Sheila's not just any ex. She's dangerous." Hope's brother, Thomas Forrester, stepped in with his own difficult views, given their family history. Even Bill Spencer, the billionaire with a troubled history, grinned darkly as the drama unfolded, recognizing parallels to his own chaotic relationships. Taylor, for her part, remained steady despite the outcry. She met Brooke for an unexpectedly cordial coffee, when the two ladies, who had previously been fierce adversaries, connected over their shared experiences with the unpredictable nature of love. I know it looks crazy, Brooke, but Deacon sees me, not the psychiatrist, not Ridge's ex, just me. Brooke nodded, providing a rare moment of support. Just be careful. Sheila doesn't let go easily. Taylor's children, Steffi and Thomas, created a protective circle around her, with Steffi even considering increased security at the Cliff House. Deacon and Taylor made their first public appearance as a couple at a low-key Forrester charity event to raise mental health awareness, which was apropos given Taylor's occupation. They entered hand in hand, prompting gasps and whispers from the exclusive audience. Cameras flashed softly from society bloggers, and social media erupted with speculation. Deacon Sharp and Taylor Hayes? What about Sheila? Headlines in the fictitious soap world mimic the real-life frenzy that soaps frequently cause. Sheila watched from a distance at first, nursing her wounds at the apartment she shared with Deacon. She replayed their marriage in her head, the good times, the fights, and the way he had once gazed at her with something approaching love. However, betrayal has a way of altering history. In a quiet moment, she picked up a photo of them together and tore it in half, her hands shaking. However, there was a hint of something new in her, possibly resignation or the seeds of a calculated response rather than outright violence. Spoilers hinted that Sheila would fire on Deacon in private, condemning him for his betrayal and warning that she would not go down without a fight. You think you can just walk away into the sunset with her? Think again. The drama escalated over the next few days. Ridge confronted Deacon at Il Giardino, and the two men nearly fought over Taylor's dignity and the potential threat to the family. If anything happens to Taylor because of you, Sharp, I'll make sure you regret it, Ridge growled. Deacon remained firm, insisting that his feelings for Taylor were genuine and that he would go to any length to keep her safe from Sheila. Meanwhile, Taylor and Deacon stole a secret moment in her workplace to reconfirm their commitment with a sweet kiss that felt like a defiance to the world. Sheila's reaction shifted from outrage to strategic thinking. She contacted old contacts, not for violence, but for leverage, perhaps by inquiring about Deacon's previous financial dealings or Taylor's professional life. There were rumors she was planning a dramatic exit from the marriage, demanding everything in a divorce that would leave Deacon stunned. But, true to her character, Sheila couldn't resist one final encounter. She arrived unannounced at a neutral site, a park overlooking the city, where Deacon and Taylor were spending a rare, tranquil afternoon. You two look cozy, Sheila observed, her voice tinged with cynicism as she approached. Taylor tensed, her hand clenching against Deacon's. Sheila vented her anguish, the feeling of abandonment, the humiliation of being the last to know in a town that loved to gossip. I gave you my heart, Deacon, the parts that weren't broken, and you gave it back shattered. Deacon listened, providing no excuses, while Taylor talked from the heart about how love had stunned them both. Surprisingly, the meeting did not finish with violent threats. Sheila went away with a warning. This isn't over. Not by a long shot. But there was a sense of finality, as if she had seen the writing on the wall. As the 2 weeks passed, the ripple effects persisted. Hope found herself mediating between her father and the family, while Steffi advocated for limits to keep Sheila at bay. Brooke and Ridge's marriage suffered fresh tensions as old conflicts resurfaced. Taylor began to imagine a future with Deacon, possibly including him more fully into her life at Forrester Creations or her clinic. Deacon felt liberated as he removed the weight of his secret life, but he was still plagued by the remorse of having injured Sheila. Finally, taking the risk of becoming public changed the course of their lives. Deacon and Taylor's relationship, once veiled, now burns freely, tested by fire but strengthened by determination. Sheila's answer, which included furious confrontation, cunning movements, and possibly reluctant acceptance, left the door open for future twists. This chapter demonstrated that even the most tangled hearts may seek forgiveness in Los Angeles, where beauty concealed betrayal and love danced on the brink of disaster. But with Sheila Carter involved, peace was never guaranteed, and the city's beautiful, brave people braced for whatever happened next. The days became a maelstrom of emotions and confrontations. At the Forrester Creations offices, both designers and executives were buzzing with rumor. The patriarch, Eric Forrester, gave Taylor wise advice at a quiet moment in his office. "Life is too short for regrets, my dear. Follow your heart, but watch your back." His comments held the wisdom of decades in the fashion industry, where alliances changed as swiftly as hemlines. DECON poured himself into work at the restaurant, relying on regular patterns to keep him stable. He confided in his team, longtime supporters who had seen him through harsher controversies. "I never planned for this," he informed a trusted colleague. "But when you find someone who makes the chaos make sense, you hold on." Taylor, juggling her psychiatric practice and the sudden notoriety, dealt with patients who quietly prodded for specifics, their interest a reminder of how linked everyone's lives were in this small community. SHEILA, for her part, briefly withdrew herself to ponder on her travels. She had come a long way since her days of pure mayhem, but the sting of adultery threatened to draw her back. Friends such as Finn, Steffi's husband, and a doctor who has a son with SHEILA attempted to interfere gently, asking her to seek therapy or, at least, restriction. "Mom, violence isn't the answer. Not anymore." But SHEILA's pride was wounded, and she promised internally to make DECON feel the weight of his decisions without crossing any borders that would land her back in jail. A critical scene occurred during an ill-fated family supper. The Logans and Forrestons gathered, tensions high as Ridge and Brooke clashed over devotion, with Taylor's name used several times. Hope vehemently defended her father, while Thomas expressed concern about his mother's welfare. In the midst of it, word arrived via text that SHEILA had been sighted near Taylor's office again, triggering a surge of protective impulses. DECON dashed there, arriving just in time to see SHEILA and Taylor in a heated confrontation. There are no knives this time, but the words are sharp enough to draw blood. SHEILA accused Taylor of hypocrisy, citing her professional ethics as a therapist who had overstepped all boundaries. Taylor responded honestly, "I didn't intend to fall for him, SHEILA, but denying it would be lying to everyone, including myself." DECON moved between them, his presence a shield. "Enough. This is between you and me, SHEILA. Taylor doesn't deserve your venom." The exchange left all three exhausted, but it also marked a watershed moment. SHEILA seems to realize that her fury, while justifiable in her perspective, was driving her even more into isolation. She retreated, muttering about starting anew, possibly leaving Los Angeles for a new chapter, an action that many hoped would bring calm but inwardly feared given her background. In calmer moments, DECON and Taylor delved further into their relationship. They ate at hidden bistros and went for walks on the beach, where they talked of dreams other than the drama, travel, maybe a blended family if Hope and the others would agree. Taylor told up about her past heartbreaks and losses, which influenced her perseverance. DECON answered with anecdotes about his own redemption journey, from prison to restaurant owner, always looking for something authentic. Their secret bond now flourished in the open, demonstrating that even in the world of the bold and the beautiful, unusual couples can rewrite the script. However, the shadow of SHEILA lingered. She filed for divorce with an aggressive lawyer who demanded assets and alimony, which could jeopardize DECON's business. Whispers suggested that she might reveal old facts about DECON's background to the public, ruining his reputation and indirectly affecting Taylor's practice. The Forrester family banded together, with Ridge swallowing his pride to offer assistance if necessary, and Brooke threw a girls' night for Taylor to vent and strategize. As the second week came to an end, a mood of cautious optimism developed. DECON and Taylor attended a public function together and handled inquiries from curious spectators with grace. "We're happy," Taylor answered simply when pressed. "And we're facing whatever comes next together." SHEILA, who was watching from the sidelines via social media or informants, felt a feeling of envy mixed with determination. Her reaction had been fiery, but it could be maturing into something that enabled her to heal, or scheme in silence. The tale moved through subplots that complemented the primary drama. Hope's relationship with her own life choices mirrored her father's, prompting meaningful mother-daughter conversations with Brooke about forgiving and moving on. Steffi's protective instincts extended to her children, safeguarding them from adult conflict. Even minor characters like Pam and Charlie offered levity with their humorous commentary on the latest Forrester scandal. Overall, the 2 weeks epitomized the heart of soap opera storytelling: passion, betrayal, confrontation, and the undying faith that love will triumph. Deacon and Taylor's decision to go public was more than a love declaration. It sparked widespread change. Sheila's explosive initial reaction gave way to layers of complexity, hurt, rage, and a faint hope of growth. Los Angeles maintained its bright exterior, but beneath it, hearts mended and broke again, paving the way for countless possibilities in the